that worry, and he's going to spin it to the girl's wife, the husband, so he freaks out. Shame on this dude. Shame on this dude. Now,
so you were upset that you say your wife was harassed, and he's going to say yes, and he's going to say yes.
Oh yeah, my family. I'm sure his family means the world to him, but the whole thing, again, it's so manipulative.
1,000 words may be spoken, but body language speaks volumes more. While Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds continue flashing those picture-perfect smiles for the cameras, something seems off. Our expert panel has carefully analyzed footage from their last few public appearances, and what they've discovered might just shatter the perfect couple illusion once and for all.
A few weeks before filming began, and less than 4 months after Miss Lively had given birth, Miss Lively was humiliated to learn that Mr. Baldoni secretly called her fitness trainer without her knowledge or permission and implied that he wanted her to lose weight in 2 weeks. Mr. Baldoni told the trainer that he had asked because he was concerned about having to pick Miss Lively up in a scene for the movie, but there was no such scene. So that's the allegation. Now let's go through this again. She was humiliated to learn that Mr. Baldoni secretly called her fitness trainer without her knowledge or permission, and yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, then why did you introduce him to him, your friend, celebrity trainer, who would later become Baldoni's trainer as well? Baldoni and the trainer start collaborating with the trainer, delivering his workout program on the 22nd. Hey, blank, I think I know who this is.
Let's start with the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere, a highly anticipated event, a night of celebration. But watch closely. When photographers called for the power couple to pose, Blake visibly stiffened as Ryan placed his hand on her lower back. Subtle, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye. But she shifted away, creating a small but telling gap between them. Celebrity body language analyst Maria Torres weighs in. When you're comfortable with someone, you lean into their touch, not away from it. What we see here is a classic distancing behavior. And the contrast? It's striking. Flashback to 2018 at a Simple Favor premiere. Blake and Ryan were inseparable. Hands intertwined, spontaneous kisses, laughter that came effortlessly. It was genuine. Fast forward to 2023, and we see what Torres calls performative affection, deliberate hand-holding for the cameras that breaks apart the moment the flashes die down. But perhaps the most damning evidence? The Met Gala, just 3 months ago. Cameras caught an awkward moment, Blake withdrawing her hand from Ryan's grasp during what should have been a romantic photo op. Torres explains, that wasn't accidental. Her shoulders were turned slightly away, creating an emotional barrier. This suggests significant withdrawal. And Ryan? His body language has shifted too. Once the protective husband who instinctively positioned himself between Blake and the crowd, he now stands beside her with what experts call staged proximity. He's close enough for the cameras but maintains a noticeable space between them. His once genuine smile, eyes crinkling with warmth, is now perfectly placed, picture-ready, yet distant. Side-by-side analysis of their red carpet appearances reveals even more worrying patterns. Blake's increased tendency to cross her arms while standing near Ryan, a defensive posture that wasn't present in earlier years. The disappearance of those whispered, intimate moments they used to share. The way they arrive at events together, pose for the press, and then quickly separate. And then there's Blake's micro-expression pattern. These are those fleeting, split-second reactions before she composes herself for the cameras. Experts. Note that her smile engages her mouth, but not her eyes, a classic sign of what's known as a social smile, rather than genuine happiness. Are these just random missteps? Or do they form a pattern that suggests a deeper fracture in the relationship?
They ran into each other. They're both single, ready to mingle.
Yeah, I think, he's an alum, obviously. He's been in the cast for a long time. Now he's tattoo-less or going tattoo-less, added a little bit of weight. He's trying to have like another moment where he's leading man, good looks or something. I thought her involvement was a little forced. To be honest with you, she's been on one episode of SNL. It was mid. She kissed him as Jasmine from Aladdin. I didn't think it was like she was big enough to have the sort of stage she had at the 50th. Did you?
What?
I know we work here, but she's not SNL 50th.
I mean, yes and no. Someone played the butt bongos on her. Like,
Yeah.
she wasn't like the butt bongos. So those exes was there. Also, Back to Ryan Reynolds. His
Yeah.
ex was there. Scarlett Johansson. They'd been married for years.
That's right.
And now they're both hanging out.
Are you curious what she has to say? She's now an SNL wife. She's Colin Jost's wife. She is part of the inner circle, the inner family of SNL, because Colin Jost's head writer. He's the Weekend Update guy for one of the longest tenures. What do you think she thinks, and why has she stayed out of the fray? It's almost like when you're at SNL, you don't want to get into the tawdry tabloid stuff.
Behind closed doors, insiders reveal that their marriage is buckling under the weight of two competing empires. Success, a blessing to many, has become their biggest battle. While they've both built incredible careers, it's the clash of professional ambitions that has driven a wedge between them. Blake's career has skyrocketed in recent years. She's not just an actress anymore, she's an entrepreneur. With the launch of her Betty Buzz mixer line, a beauty brand in development, and a string of major film projects, she's in full-blown empire-building mode. And insiders say that's the root of their troubles. A source close to the couple reveals she's booking projects months in advance without factoring in how it impacts their family. She's focused, determined, but Ryan, he's feeling pushed aside. While he publicly supports her ventures behind closed doors, it's a different story. Our sources say he's allegedly growing frustrated with her refusal to compromise. Ryan feels like he's always the one expected to adjust his schedule, our insider continues. When their calendars clash, Blake makes it clear her projects aren't the ones that should be sacrificed. Things reportedly reached a boiling point. Last year, when Blake issued what amounted to an ultimatum, Ryan needed to turn down roles to be more present with their children. But here's the catch. At the same time, she was lining up 3 major projects that would keep her away for months. This double standard has led to deep-seated resentment. According to sources, one particularly heated argument erupted when both were offered major roles that required shooting in different countries. In the end, Ryan backed down, delaying his project, but he was furious about it. He felt manipulated, cornered, our insider explains. Ironically, Ryan's massive success initially made their relationship stronger. Deadpool turned him into one of Hollywood's biggest stars. His business ventures, Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, made him a mogul. At one point, they were Hollywood's power couple, cheering each other on. But now, every new project, every business deal seems to fuel competition rather than celebration. A longtime friend of the couple puts it bluntly. They can't celebrate each other's wins anymore. Every success becomes another scheduling nightmare, another fight about priorities. It's gotten to the point where sources say they're essentially living separate lives. One insider describes their household dynamic as 2 successful people operating independently, occasionally crossing paths. Their professional commitments keep them apart for months at a time, with childcare arrangements that prioritize logistics over family unity. So, is this the beginning of the end? Hollywood marriages are fragile, and while Blake and Ryan have weathered storms before, sources say this one might be different. A collision of 2 unstoppable forces.
Now, that's not it. When Lively caught strep throat, Mr. Baldoni offered a gift to connect her with an expert he had on retainer to help her with her probiotics and to combat the sickness. When Miss Lively went to fill out the privacy forms, she saw that the expert was not what Mr. Baldoni had represented to her, but instead was a weight loss specialist. Miss Lively felt once again that Mr. Baldoni was shaming her for her body and her weight. So wait, I didn't even really realize this. This whole thing was because the doctor had that on the form? So you thought that's just what this means? I don't know about you guys. There are a lot of doctors and specialists who say one thing on their board, but actually are responsible and specialize in multiple different other areas. So
Will they find common ground, or is the foundation of their once-admired marriage beginning to crumble? To say, well, you're not a director, and then send all your messages, rallying your allies to defend you. I mean, are you kidding me? Is this what it's come to? When we actually examine what he's being accused of, it's all just lies. Nothing but baseless rumors, assumptions, and weird negativity. And as we go through it, here comes the supposed niceness from Ryan Reynolds. Oh, I have a lot more thoughts on that. We'll talk about it in detail later. Just how manipulative is this situation? Well, A.R. Adney put it best. Little Miss Jacob. She pointed out how Ryan left him hanging, only responding when he needed something. But even worse, Ryan was using his kids as a manipulation tactic to get what he wanted. Oh yeah, sure. Family means the world to him. But let's not ignore how strategic this entire move is. It's all so calculated. Then there's Lively. She confides in Baldoni that she has strep throat. She's been sick multiple times, which honestly makes me wonder, was she really? But anyway, she keeps bringing it up, and they're humoring her, making sure she's okay. So Baldoni, being the helpful guy he is, offers to send her some gut health protocols to help her recover after taking antibiotics. Now, let's be honest. Justin Baldoni is in phenomenal shape. The guy clearly knows how to take care of his body. If I needed advice on maintaining peak physical form, I'd probably go to him too. He's got access to the best health experts, no doubt about that. So naturally, he reaches out to his board-certified, integrative holistic health coach. Yeah, that's a mouthful. I don't even know what all those buzzwords mean, but apparently, this person wears many hats. Lively connects with the health coach and later even says she's incredible. But here's the twist. Later on, in her formal complaint, she claims this same health coach was actually a weight loss specialist, accusing Baldoni of using the entire situation as a subtle way to fat shame her. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? This is deflection at its finest. Blake Lively is clearly feeling insecure and projecting everything onto Justin.
Absolutely insane. And then as you look at the text messages, just to really reaffirm it, here it is. Please, you can look happy you're feeling better. There's some gut protocols that can help with antibiotics. Please, literally just off of the doctor now. This is my body is all out of whack. We'll send shortly. What do you want to do? Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, a lot of these text messages you can go through. Nothing really passing along her number. I want to be sure she's not waiting on me. So she's interested. Sorry, just got out. Yes, she left you a voicemail. She wasn't in my contact. She doesn't ring, straight to voicemail, yada, yada. Anyway, and then literally, here it is with the coach. Blake, co-star, is breastfeeding and had to take antibiotics for strep her second round. Could you recommend a probiotic gut rebuilder? I can send her, establishing some goodwill. I'm telling her about you. Of course. Oh no, poor thing. She will want to take the trifecta. Here's the 3 I recommend. Do you want me to send them? Super important as a baby for the baby's microbiome. Look, the way I read this is just as...
It's one thing to have personal grievances and decide privately that you don't want to work with someone again. But to take it this far, to file a formal complaint, effectively destroying a man's reputation, over what? Because a holistic coach had a form that included weight loss services? Maybe she just wanted more clients, because let's face it, not everyone is Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds. Some people actually have to hustle for income. And now, Lively is twisting it into this absurd narrative, saying that Justin was fat-shaming her just because he had access to a form? Can you even believe this nonsense? This is beyond ridiculous. But wait, this is just the beginning. Our exclusive timeline. Investigation has uncovered the exact moment when Hollywood's golden couple started to fall apart. You remember those matching wedding rings they were always seen wearing? Well, insiders have noticed something deeply troubling. Those rings have been missing lately, and the real story behind their disappearance is more shocking than anyone realized. According to sources with direct knowledge of the situation, the relationship hit rock bottom exactly 8 months ago during the filming of Ryan's blockbuster project in Europe. For 12 straight weeks, he was overseas, leaving Blake to manage 4 young children alone. The breaking point? Ryan missed their youngest child's first steps, and if that wasn't bad enough, he canceled a planned family visit at the last minute, due to reshoots. But what happened next is what really changed everything. Sources confirm that after the missed visit, Blake and Ryan had a nuclear-level argument over FaceTime. It ended with Blake hanging up and refusing to answer his calls. For 3 days. That fight changed everything, says a close friend of the couple. They've never fully recovered from the trust that was broken that night. The timeline of their troubles becomes crystal clear when you track their public appearances. In January, Blake had a major film premiere, one that Ryan was conspicuously absent from. It was the first major event in their entire marriage that he skipped. The official excuse? A scheduling conflict. But insiders reveal the truth. It was an intentional decision, following yet another heated argument, and the signs don't stop there. Property records show that in February, Ryan quietly purchased a $2.3 million Manhattan apartment, a transaction that was deliberately kept out of the press. It's not officially a separation home, a source explains, but he's been staying there during work trips, sometimes for a week at a time. The wedding rings have also become a major clue. Eagle-eyed fans noticed that Blake attended 3 charity events in March, without her signature diamond band. Meanwhile, Ryan has been selectively wearing his ring only during public appearances, where photographers are guaranteed to be present. The final nail in the coffin? A private birthday celebration last month for a mutual friend. Multiple guests described the tension between Blake and Ryan as impossible to ignore. They arrived separately, sat at opposite ends of the table, and left in different cars. Everyone was whispering about it, one attendee confirmed, and this, my friends, is just the tip of the iceberg. Behind their perfectly filtered Instagram posts lies a digital trail that reveals a lot about Blake and Ryan's relationship status. We've spent weeks analyzing their social media activity, and what we discovered is nothing short of revealing. Remember those adorable comment exchanges where Ryan would playfully tease Blake about her movie posters, and she'd respond with witty comebacks? Our social media investigation confirms that these interactions have practically disappeared. Just last year, the couple averaged 14 interactions per month on each other's posts. Today, that number has plummeted to just 4, a staggering 70% decrease. And it's not just the quantity that has changed, it's the tone. Gone are the personal jokes and heartfelt tributes, replaced by generic, promotional comments that feel more like business transactions than signs of a loving marriage. Blake's Instagram feed tells its own story. In the past 6 months, she has posted 27 times, and Ryan has appeared in exactly 0 of those posts. Instead, her content has shifted dramatically toward promoting her Betty Buzz mixer line and showcasing nights out with her female co-stars. An industry insider told us, Blake used to balance her feed between family moments and career highlights. Now, it's all business, all the time. Meanwhile, Ryan's social media has undergone a similarly revealing transformation. His once family-focused account now primarily functions as a marketing tool for his aviation gin brand and Deadpool promotions. When asked about this shift, a source close to Reynolds confirmed he's deliberately keeping his personal life off social media these days. Things are too fragile to put on display. Perhaps the most revealing detail is the strategic deletions. Our team discovered that Blake removed at least 7 previously shared photos of Ryan during a particularly tense period following their argument in Europe. These included anniversary posts and family vacation snapshots that had once gained millions of likes. One former assistant disclosed, "There was a day Blake went through her entire feed and archived anything that felt too personal with Ryan. She was in tears the whole time." The timing of their posts also follows a suspicious pattern. 3 different times this year, the couple has posted seemingly happy throwback photos within 48 hours of tabloid breakup rumors surfacing. A PR specialist who previously worked with them noted, it's textbook crisis management, countering negative press with strategic content that projects unity. But the posts are always carefully chosen old photos, never recent ones. Our most compelling evidence came from their holiday celebrations. While both Blake and Ryan posted separate Christmas messages suggesting a united family gathering, eagle-eyed fans spotted conflicting location details. Blake's post featured a fireplace mantle exclusive to their Bedford home, while Ryan's showed snow-covered mountains from their Whistler, Canada property. Flight records confirmed that they were, in fact, 3,000 miles apart for much of the holiday season. As we've demonstrated in this exclusive investigation, what's happening between Blake and Ryan isn't just a minor rough patch. It's a marriage potentially on the verge of collapse. Our sources now confirm that they have essentially been living separate lives for months. Blake has reportedly told close friends that she's not sure there's a way back from the damage that's been done. The final straw? According to our insider, Blake recently consulted with a high-profile divorce attorney specializing in celebrity, asset protection, and child custody arrangements. She's exploring her options, our source reveals. She hasn't filed anything yet, but she's preparing for what might come next. The real question now isn't whether there's trouble. It's whether they'll make their separation official before the end of the year. Will they attempt one last round of marriage counseling, as our sources suggest Ryan is pushing for? Or has Hollywood's once perfect couple already reached the point of no return? Stay with Celeb 7 Hub for exclusive updates you won't find. anywhere else as this relationship reaches its critical breaking point.